The Ohio Beef Expo, always a highlight of the many agricultural events in the Buckeye State each year, and over the years, it's made a place for itself on the national stage. 2023's Expo has been particularly special, celebrating 35 years. The Expo has changed in several ways since its beginning to now consist of a packed trade show, full parking lots, and busy barns with cattlemen of all ages. Elizabeth Harsh is Executive Director of the Ohio Cattlemen's Association, which coordinates the Ohio Beef Expo.
This year's event is its 35th anniversary. It's really hard to believe, but it is so gratifying to see how far it's come in those 35 years. So we took the opportunity to celebrate today to recognize those trade show exhibitors as well as the breeders that have been with us for all 35 years. And an added plus was actually including some of those folks that helped create it that were leaders within the Ohio Cattlemen's Association at that very same time. So we recognize some of those presidents in the 80s and the first Expo chairmen as well.
There are a lot of moving parts to the Expo, including multiple breed-specific highlights, a major factor behind its creation.
It took the breeds coming together. It really did. You know, they all had their own plan and their own schedule, and that's what created it. But it's seeing everything kind of come together and work together. We always say it's like a family. You've got to kind of have everybody get along, all the parts to make it successful. But I just enjoy seeing cattlemen and families that maybe you only see them once a year at the Beef Expo because this event brings them out.
Auctioneer and beef aficionado Johnny Regula has been around since the beginning of the Expo. He says it's a big deal in the beef world.
Frankly, I was on the first committee and when this all started, and I will tell you that the very first one was in the old Davy beef barn. We sat around the table, and Jim Rentz is the one that kind of put this together with Mr. Bergfeld, and we're sitting around, we're all given jobs to do, and Jim said, Johnny says, you're going to run the feed store. I said, well, why am I going to run the feed store? He says, because you live closest to the fairgrounds than any of us. And I said, it's the worst reason to give anybody a job in my life. But anyhow, we did it. And the first year, I remember it was cold, it was miserable, it was rainy, snowy, sleet, it was everything. And I told my dad, I said, you know, this will never fly. And gee whiz, here we are 35 years later. It's the premier show of all the expos in the country. It really honestly is, because this is impressive. The trade show people have grabbed a hold of the idea, and it's the cattle people, of course, they love it. But the whole concept is fantastic.
The original manager of the Ohio Beef Expo, Jim Rentz, also on hand to help celebrate. We asked him if 35 years ago he expected it to become what it is today.
No, we were just trying to get through the ones we were that we had. No, it's fantastic. It's great to have this facility, which has helped immensely. But the cattleman staff and so on, and the board, what have you, have worked hard. And this is probably one of the leading trade shows in the beef industry. Even when I was still there about that fifth year, Iowa was the lead expo deal. And they called and they said, well, what are you guys doing? Because we got people coming to us saying we like Ohio better. And so we're doing something right, but it was well accepted.
Harsh says in the end, those 35 years have all come together to make a nationally renowned occasion in the beef world.
We say our expo has not one big event, but we have multiple really great events. And there's no doubt about it that our trade show has become the envy of any beef expo anywhere. And we really appreciate all those folks that think that it's the most productive use of their time and their business of any trade show they go to. But it's also the breed sales. So all those breeding cattle, there were 9 breed sales, and we'll sell seed stock into about 25 states each year. And then the added plus that we didn't have at the beginning is the whole junior component. Now it's the last and the grand finale, if you will, of our best program. The junior show is at the Expo, and we're going to break new records this weekend with that event.
Reporting from the 2023 Ohio Beef Expo, I'm Joel Penhorwood for the Ohio AgNet.